Hello,
Hi, hi. How are you?
how are you? Good, thank you. I've just got this light thing here that I just bought. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's all right. I can. Am I audible to you?
Sorry?
Am I audible?
Yeah. Let me just
Okay.
turn it all the way up. This is quite bright, but apparently it's better. What was your name?
Yeah, so my name is Nivriti, and thank you for joining us today.
Are you going live right now?
Yeah, we are live. So we will be officially
I thought you
starting
started
at
yet.
11 o'clock.
Okay. Hi, how are you? Sorry, I don't know we're right. Live right then.
No problem at all. Yeah.
How is it in India?
I am in the northern part of India, so it's pretty cold here. So
Is it
how
cold
is it
right now?
there? Yeah, it's
So
actually
hot.
raining.
Look, I'm almost sweating right now. I'm dripping there.
And I'm just it's very cold, so we are just wearing our cardigans and all those stuff.
Well, happy Women's Day, and
Same to you, same to
be.
you.
Thank you for asking me to be on your live. I'm honoured to be here. I'm
Oh.
not really used to doing many video live chats yet, but I think I have to get used to it, right? So thank you for pushing me out of my comfort zone.
Thank you for joining us today. It is really great to have you with us on board. So we'll start as it's almost 11. Okay. So hello everyone. Happy Women's Day to all. I hope everybody is doing well and are having a pleasant day so far. I am Nivriti Chauhan, a psychologist from Mira Foundation. So let me give you a little brief about Mira Foundation first. So Mira Foundation was established in 2018 with a vision of promoting a society that believes in unity and equity. Our belief is to empower and assist people in every way we can in order to contribute to the creation of a community that is more self-reliant. So today we are having Miss Samala with us, and our conversation will be oriented towards women empowerment. Thank you so much for today, Samala. Thank you for joining us. And happy Women's Day to you, first of all.
Happy Women's Day to you.
So I'll give a little brief introduction about Samala Austin first. She's an advanced rapid transformational hypnotherapist and is currently practicing in Australia. So Samala, would you want to add something onto it?
Yeah, I practice in Australia from my office here, and also mostly actually all around the world. So most of my sessions are via Zoom to anywhere in the world. So it means I'm available to everyone, which is fantastic. So technology is awesome in that way. It means we can work anywhere and we can have this conversation right now. So that's cool. But yeah, rapid transformational therapy completely changed my life and how I feel about myself. And it was only natural that I wanted to then share it with other women and empower other women to feel better about themselves, because we spend so much of our life just feeling not very good and not happy and guilty and like comparing ourselves to other people. And then especially when we're in our 20s and then 30, and then you get to, well, I'm 40 now, you get to 40 and you start to see, well, that was a waste of time. You know, it didn't actually do anything or fix my life or make my life better. I basically just spent most of my life on the outside looking and thinking I should be a better person and not actually really enjoying where I am right now and having fun. And I think, you know, we're not on this planet for a long time, you know, and we should just have fun. I think we're meant to just be having fun, right? But we all just take it all seriously.
So yeah, you correctly said that in our 20s, we start comparing our lives with other people, other women. Like, you know, some of them are more successful and what are we doing with our lives? And it is exactly like it's well put in. So one of my team member mentioned me that you've had an incredible life journey. I would really want you to share your enriching journey with us today.
Thank you. And it's interesting hearing you say that I haven't, you know, that your Shreya said that I had an amazing life journey, because looking at myself, I never thought that I had an amazing life journey. I just thought it was, you know, all my dramas and things I went through. And it's funny how we don't see ourselves how other people see us. So when I have clients come to me, I just see them as these beautiful, successful, amazing women. I think they're awesome, and they don't feel that way at all. They feel awful about themselves and guilty. So my life journey was, I was raised in an Indian religion of meditation and chanting. So I've always had that very open-minded spiritual connection. And then I went from that to living on a farm in the middle of nowhere doing homeschooling, so very isolated. And then I went from that to moving to a town by the beach, which was kind of like a party town. Lots of hippies and lots of parties and lots going on all the time. And I wasn't here for very long. I studied acting for about a year, and then I met a man 7 years older, and I had not really had, actually I'd never had a relationship before. And I fell pregnant to him pretty early on. So he was 7 years older. I was 18. So from 19, I had my first child, and he had mental illness, and I started to sort of see that early on. So that was a big challenge, having to deal with that. And there was a lot of verbal abuse, not physical, but a lot of put downs and horrible words. And hurt, there is that saying, sticks and stones may break our bones, but words will never hurt us, which is not true. Words hurt more than anything. And when you're 20 and 19, your mind is still actually, we're still growing up. So that had a big impact on how I felt about myself. So, and then having to be a mother as well, and then dealing with that. So I had no money. He had all the finances, and he would yell at me for a whole day. I didn't even know what it was about, nothing. And, but I learned, that women, we really look after each other. My neighbor, who on the first night in our new house, because we were in New Zealand, then we moved back to Australia, I stayed at her house on the first night because he had kicked me out and was being awful. And she's still, to this day, 20 years later, one of my closest, we're still very close. I don't see her all the time, but I absolutely love this woman, and I could see her, and feels like no time's passed at all. And she would take me in and have me and my baby stay there, and she became very close. And then another neighbor became very close. And I only had like $5 a week, and I would take that to catch the bus to the nearest town to go to Mother's Support Group, to be with women and to cry and to share how hard it was. And I felt so lost, and I felt so like, what was I doing? And at 19, the comparison thing was big, because there were women there that were happily married, that owned big fancy houses and big cars, and they were so happy to be a mother because it's all they ever wanted their whole life. And they were much older, and they had their career, and they'd traveled, and they were happy. They seemed happy anyway. And so I always just felt so guilty, so much guilt as a mother, that I would, lose my temper and yell at my son, and then I'd go and cry because I was like, oh my God, I'm so terrible. That mother's so calm. And I think that's one thing mothers don't do, is they never really talk about when they lose it. Like, everyone tries to portray that they're this happy, perfect mother all the time. And I don't think anyone really is, so I would, we kind of carry that shame of like, oh my God, I yelled at my child, I'm a horrible person. And that was huge. I used to cry like every night about the time that even a month before I might have yelled at my child, like a month later I'd still be crying about how terrible I felt. So that was challenging, being a young mother, but mainly because I was dealing with this man that was trying to make my life harder, calling me out, being horrible. Cell phones had just been invented then, texting had just come in, so then it was like the horrible text messages. And but now I have this beautiful 21-year-old son. So but I think from that, that took me on my journey. So your question was my journey. So obviously I didn't feel very happy. I felt miserable, and I just wanted to be happy. And I was on that constant search for happiness. Like, how can I be happy and content? How can I create the most amazing life that I have in my head, this picture in my head? How can I create that? Because it just felt like so hard. So I just started to do personal development courses from the age of 21. I did so many, and they were great. And I felt amazing. I would be on this big high for about a month, and then it would all start to wear off. And it wasn't until I found hypnotherapy, with this particular type of hypnotherapy, that I actually permanently changed how I felt for the first time in my life. It really rewrote, recoded, and that I'm good enough, you know, just the way I
That's
am,
good.
and I can believe in
Your
myself.
your courage is really commendable, and I can really
Thank you.
understand like so many things going on at the same time, the child and living alone and suffering with the verbal abuse and all those things. But there were good people around to support as well.
They were
And the best
women.
thing, yeah, so the women, and the best thing is that you never gave up. You kept on going, you found
Yeah.
happiness, you had a picture of it, and you just followed it. And that is really incredible.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
so what was the most significant barrier in your journey, and how did you overcome it? So, out of all these things, so what was the major one you could define?
The most difficult barrier in my journey,
Yeah.
I would say being a young mother was pretty difficult, but especially having, relationships. I had 3 substantial relationships that were all very difficult. And when I look back at how much time and energy that took from me, you know, staying in there and just arguing, getting caught into the dramas, where if I didn't have those relationships, if I had a different relationship, or if I felt better about myself and attracted a different sort of relationship, I feel like I would have been more ahead in life. Like they just took so much time, and then it takes time to recover, and then to start
Yeah.
feeling good again about yourself. And then, you know, so that it took pretty much, like 20s and 30s. It was all taken up in relationships and the drama and figuring out what I like. So when you have a lot of what you don't like, you start to learn what you do like. And then with doing therapy and then starting to feel better about myself, now I have a very clear picture of what I like, what the kind of people I want in my life, what I want to do with my life, the kind of person I want to be. But I didn't have that because I was so caught up in what, you know, arguments, what people were saying about me, feeling bad about myself, feeling defensive, you know. And yeah, relationships were a big barrier. And then being a young mother as well, feeling sometimes, you know, like, like the mothering thing can be quite hard, and wishing that I was on a tropical island somewhere. But, you know, they grow up really quickly, and I wish I was back there sometimes with my little babies.
So, yeah, I understand. Like relationships, of course, you know, there are so many in like mother-child relationship you had to develop, and the relationship that you were having with the person who was constantly in contact, and also, you know, the relationship was toxic, and we also had so many things in mind, how to move ahead and how to take care of the baby and how to manage all those things. So it's great, you know, the first step is always be aware about certain things, that what is happening with us, with me, and then taking one step at a time and moving ahead. So yeah.
Being conscious, I think, you know, when we're younger, well, I feel like young people are a lot more conscious these days. There's a lot more self-development, and it's when I go on my Instagram and all the people I follow, there's so much personal development. So I feel like young people are a little bit more onto it than when I was younger. But yeah, when you're spending so much time mentally in what other people are thinking and feeling, and less about how you're thinking and feeling and what you want, and it takes a lot of time and energy.
Okay, yeah. So, would like to know your thoughts over present day challenges you think women face these days, and what advice you'd like to give them.
Present day challenges for women. Well, social media, I think that's an obvious one, especially Instagram. And I mean, there's so many more now. TikTok, I'm not even on there, but comparison.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. And I can still catch myself out, you know, looking at somebody else's, you know, website or something, or Instagram, thinking, oh, wow, they're doing so much better than me. And then that can, in a matter of seconds, it can just make you feel, you know, not good enough or lesser. When you could be feeling fine, you know, like you're doing really well, and then you go and look at someone else, or they've got like a better body, or they're doing better, or they've got like a happier life or a bigger house, or and I think, well, the body thing for young women, that's a big one, and how they look. So young women are especially, you kind of don't care about that as much as you get older, but young women, you know, with anorexia and eating disorders and having that perfect body, seems there's a lot of pressure to have the perfect body, the right fashion. So comparison, if women could just not care what other people think, like that would, how freeing that would be. Like if you just didn't care what other people think. And I have that a lot in my sessions, like helping women just really wire in. I'm totally indifferent to what people think about me. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm completely happy in my own skin, comfortable in my own skin, happy with where I am and what I'm doing. But yeah, and because it's, you know, every time you pick up your phone and you open Instagram, even that's like so second nature now, just clicking on Instagram without even really thinking about it, or Facebook or whatever, then it's in your face, you know, all this, oh, look what she's doing, oh, I'm not doing that, I should look like that, I should go to the gym. Or so yeah, women comparing themselves to other women, I think, is huge. And then feeling guilty that they're not doing enough.
And moreover, on social media, we can only see one aspect of their life. So everybody's dealing with their own hurdles at the same time. So,
completely.
but we tend to focus on our hurdles and others' positive things.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So we should more focus on our positive things as well.
Yeah, totally. And feeling good enough and praising ourselves. Like, this is why hypnotherapy is so good, because we get this personalized recording that's all lots of positive praising, and it takes about a month to, you know, the mind learns by repetition, and it takes a month to kind of really wire in a new habit. So it's all about praising, and we don't have someone following us around all day saying, wow, you're amazing, you're doing so well, look how well you're doing. So that's what really helped me, was getting that recording and wiring in, oh, I am good enough, I'm fine, I'm great, I'm, you know, perfect just the way I am. Because we don't feel perfect, and we want to be perfect as women, you know, women, we feel like we need to be perfect, we have
always
to do everything. Yeah, we have to have the perfect house, the perfect body, the perfect mother, perfect in everything, and it's a lot of pressure. And then we feel guilty, like we're not good enough, and we've got, you know, got to do better. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure, and I know men have their pressures as well, but today's Women's Day.
Yeah. Okay, so as you mentioned, today's Women's Day, so what message you would like to give to all the women out there on this Women's Day?
I want you to go and look in the mirror and look into your eyes and say, I love you. How amazing are you? Look at all the great things you've done in your life, whether it's be birth a child, whether it's just even cook an amazing meal for yourself or your family tonight, or have holidays, anything. And we've all got things to be proud of that we've done in our life, all of us. Be proud of yourself. Women come to me and they're not proud of themselves. And, you know, we don't see how great we are. Other people will say, wow, you're amazing, and you're like, oh no, I'm not amazing. So just see how amazing you are. Look in the mirror and see what other people see, and it might take some practice, but just love yourself. Have a bath, put some rose petals in there, play some music, find a really cool song that you love that makes you feel like, yeah, I'm amazing.
Dance to it.
Like, just have fun. I think, you know what? Have fun. Play some music, run around your house, jumping up and down, having fun, singing, you know, have some nice food, laugh, watch a comedy, play some games with friends. Just have fun, because we all take life too seriously, and then we're going to all be really, really old one day, and we're going to look back and we're all going to think, wow, I worried way too much about all these things. So just have fun and don't worry. Worrying doesn't do anything.
Exactly.
And I'm telling that to myself too, because we, you know, just need to remind
we have to remind this to ourselves every day.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us and sharing your incredible life journey with us. Your advices were really good, and from tomorrow onwards, every woman who will be watching this video will not worry. From tomorrow, we'll tell them, they will all tell them to themselves that we are incredible, we are amazing, and we'll just have fun.
Think about this. Women have birthed every single human on the planet.
Yeah. That's huge. Yes. So I'm really positive that everything you've shared in this session would inspire all of the women out there. And again, thank you so much for joining us today. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Happy Women's Day.
Same to you. Happy Women's Day, and happy Women's Day to all of you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.